Maiden finally did it!
So, here we are.
On the 50th year of their existence, Iron Maiden played the biggest UK headlining concert of their career at the London Stadium, which their bassist and founder Steve Harris has always dreamt of. So today let's take a look at the historical significance of that concert specifically for Iron Maiden and its fanbase, and then discuss why this concert felt different from pretty much anything Iron Maiden did before. Here you go. Guys, as always, please do not hesitate to comment on anything you hear or see in this video, and especially if you disagree with me, because the whole point of our Up the Irons series is, of course, to start a conversation. But alright, let's do it. So before we talk about the actual concert, let's rewind the tape a bit, to the times when Iron Maiden's fearless leader Steve Harris's obsession with West Ham has actually begun. So, to the very beginning. Steve Harris was born in Leytonstone, East London, just a short bus ride away from Upton Park, the old home of West Ham United. And ever since he was a kid, he was obsessed with the club. In fact, before picking up the bass guitar, Steve actually trained in the West Ham Youth Academy, dreaming of one day playing professionally for the Hammers.
There was a moment, wasn't there, when this could have been the future for you, couldn't it, playing football?
I was with 9 months with West Ham when I was 14, yeah, which is scary really, because that's 53 years ago.
Throughout the years, he's spoken many times about hanging around the stadium, watching the players and soaking in every bit of the club's culture. As for him, West Ham wasn't just a football team. It was a second family, a badge of pride, and a big part of what made him the person he is today. And yes, he's talked about it in many interviews throughout the years. In pretty much every major documentary about Iron Maiden, Steve has always mentioned West Ham, and he's often said that if things hadn't worked out with Iron Maiden, he would have tried to become a professional footballer instead. And even as Maiden started dominating stages around the world, he never hid where he came from, proudly showing off West Ham wristbands and talking about the team any chance he got.
Yeah, apparently.
Really?
And the craziest thing is that Steve Harris's love for West Ham didn't actually remain solely his personal obsession. It actually became a part of Iron Maiden's DNA. Over the years, Maiden launched a bunch of official collaborations with West Ham, including the famous Die With Your Boots On jerseys, which sold out almost instantly when they first dropped, and special West Ham and Iron Maiden merchandise lines, making the connection between the band and the club an official part of Maiden's history. And the truth is that all of us Iron Maiden fans, whether we like it or not, or whether we know about it or not, are actually a part of it. The famous phrase "up the irons," known to every Iron Maiden fan, is in fact a wordplay on the West Ham Stadium chant, as the Irons is a club's nickname, left as a legacy from its original title, Thames Ironworks Football Club, when it was first founded back in 1895 and before it was reformed as West Ham United 5 years later. By the way, for some weird reason, many Maiden fans think "Up the Irons" is an actual chant used by the West Ham fans, when in reality it is not exactly true. And the real official West Ham slogan actually goes, but nevertheless, it was of course West Ham that inspired Iron Maiden's famous slogan. And yeah, I actually think that it is kind of ironic and a little bit hilarious that all of us Iron Maiden fans simply love to scream "up the irons" from the top of our lungs, even if we are fans of other football clubs. And even I, who is a die-hard Dynamo Kiev fan since I was a little kid, still could not resist to name this video series exactly that. By the way guys, here I just want to point out that only around 30% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to this channel, so if you're not one of those, and especially if this is not the first Up the Irons series you're watching here, I would really appreciate it if you would consider doing it right now. Let's continue building this amazing heavy metal community together.
We're gonna have a good time. Always.
But nonetheless, that's exactly why playing the London Stadium, the new home of West Ham United, was not just simply yet another show for Steve, no matter how big the crowd was. It was personal. This was Steve standing on the turf of the club he'd loved since he was a kid, in front of tens of thousands of fans, many of them from the same streets he grew up. And thus, this wasn't just yet another stadium, and for a guy who spent decades taking Maiden to every corner of the globe, this was the night he finally brought it all back where it started. It was a kid from Leytonstone coming home, finally bringing Iron Maiden back to the place that shaped him, even before he wrote his first ever riff. When it comes to the show itself, well, on one hand, Iron Maiden did not actually change pretty much anything in its production, except for one thing, of which we'll talk in a moment. But at the same time, according to most of you guys who actually visited that show, it did feel different from any other Iron Maiden concert they played before. Setlist-wise, there were no surprises. Maiden stuck to the same songs they've been playing on the Run For Your Lives tour, and the production itself was exactly what fans had seen in previous shows, with massive LED screens and the new Eddie walk-on. But the difference was in the scale. The London Stadium looked absolutely enormous, with Maiden's stage set towering in front of a sea of fans, one of the biggest crowds they've ever played to in the United Kingdom and the biggest solo headliner on their native soil in the band's entire career. And that's exactly why the atmosphere, well, you can actually feel it even through the videos online. As yes, it was a culmination of a celebration of 50 years of one of the greatest metal bands on the planet. And by the way, just to clarify, I did not actually attend the London gig because I am here in Ukraine, and I actually spent the night of that show reading all the comments from you metal pilgrims who attended it in a bomb shelter, together with my family. So yeah, everything I say here is based on your feedback and on the videos you can watch online. Oh, and yeah, there was one change in the show's production, as it was the first and I think the only show on this tour which Steve Harris performed in a West Ham t-shirt.
Yeah, unbelievable.
But anyways, it did finally happen. Iron Maiden were able to celebrate their 50th anniversary, and they did it at home with a massive show at the West Ham Stadium. A night where Iron Maiden proved once again why they're not just a band, they're a family. And sometimes coming home means more than any surprise song or guest appearance ever could. And for Steve Harris and the boys, it was probably the most meaningful gig they've ever played in their career. And here's the thing, yes, in all honesty, I did actually expect a couple of tweaks Iron Maiden would possibly do for that concert, including inviting Nico McBrain to come up on stage and perform at least one song together with the band. And although deep in my heart I did understand that for a band like Iron Maiden, and for a show like the one for Run For Your Lives tour, it is pretty hard to change pretty much anything when it comes to a given concert on tour. I still did kind of think that a couple of ex-band members might show up at that gig. But nonetheless, even if that didn't happen, it looks like Iron Maiden were able to make it a hell of a party for all of the British Iron Maiden fans. And I'm really happy for everyone who was able to attend that show. But anyways, what do you guys personally think about Run For Your Lives tour, and are you planning to see it live? Or maybe you did it already. Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this short video, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!